Hello everyone, Microsoft Sam speaking again, and this time I'm gonna be doing a follow-up video from the last time I discussed about YouTube's AI age verification system last week. However, since August 13th came and passed, I was expecting the worst from what YouTube will do to my channel, so I had to check on my Creator Studio and my emails to see if I got any warnings or pop-ups from YouTube warning me about my account becoming restricted or not. However, after waiting several hours in that day, I have not received any word from YouTube warning me about those changes so far, so I have not been hit by that AI system as of yet. This has both raised and confirmed my suspicions at the same time, because I definitely knew that there were some fear-mongering tactics instigated by larger YouTube channels that scared panicking viewers to either boycott YouTube, keep signing petitions, use VPNs, or even change their profile pictures to that of Clippy, of which most, if not all, are non-advisable and thus only further complicate the situation. Of all the people that orchestrated those fear-mongering schemes, the slanderist and deep humor are the worst offenders, as those channels are the most likely for paranoid users to click on and watch their content, especially the latter. However, I'm not gonna go after them, because the more pressing matter for me is to uncover all the myths and scares that have been circulating about this AI age situation, with my ultimate goal of debunking such myths that most people believe in. First off, YouTube's apparently poor AI moderation. In my last video, I briefly made a small addendum in my last video that YouTube's AI age checks could also estimate a person's age based on their watch history or what videos they searched for. What I didn't elaborate enough upon, due to time constraints, is that, if you're a person that's been watching YouTube for a living, and perhaps you decide to watch numerous cartoons and anime, let it be Animaniacs, Sailor Moon, or hell, even the Battletech cartoon. But all of a sudden, YouTube decides to swoop down upon you, flag you as underage, and requiring you to provide them your ID or credit card in exchange for a mandatory data breach. If you think all of that was true, solely based on preconceived notions that any sort of animation is declared as being for kids by AI, chances are, you have likely been fooled, but I digress. However, people also said that YouTube's AI age estimates go beyond just video search and watch histories, going as far as including all the comments you posted over the years, and much more. If whatever I said is anything to go by, that could be seen as highly controversial, because like I said earlier, you could be watching a clip from the Animaniacs or 90s Sailor Moon, likely the Viz Media dub, and AI might flag you as underage. There's a lot of different factors going on that I don't know much about, but from what I could tell, most people on YouTube most often prefer to watch brain rot content that's extremely popular compared to the cartoons I mentioned, which is why AI would most likely flag them as underage from watching that kind of stuff. However, just because someone watches brain rot for a living does not automatically make them 12-year-old Fortnite squeaker kiddies that watched Mr. Beast all the time. That's not only a grossly improper comparison, but an extremely rude and ableist one at best. Although it is likely that people who watch brain rot content actually happen to be adults themselves who haven't grown out of their infantile viewing habits due to boredom. Secondly, if YouTube's AI age system finds out that you're under 18, and you refuse to provide them your ID to continue using that platform, you're automatically banned from that site. That's an extremely bullshit claim, because there is no evidence that YouTube would ban you for being under 18. That's not how it works. But what they did say is, just like how I explained in my last video, YouTube will disable personalized ads, turn on certain age-appropriate protections, limit repetitive recommendations, issue privacy warnings for anything you post here, and even disabling certain features in your Creator Studio. Your viewing options could also be limited to the point it'll just become a glorified version of YouTube Kids, except it's just regular YouTube all along. So, no, your YouTube won't get banned at all. However, it will get deleted if you're under 13. That is, because you must be 14 years or older to create a YouTube account. However, besides that, there's a lot more to those scares, myths and gossips behind that AI age estimation system than what meets the eye. In my last video, like I've said a few times, I did cover the 3 methods YouTube would use to verify your age, of which all would apparently give you data breaches. 2 of the 3 verification methods, the government-issued ID and a selfie, are the most controversial options, because 1, both would contain a lot of personal info that could potentially be stolen, and 2, there could be a chance that those options had to be re-verified several more times. For the selfies, they are a weak form of verification, which could expose the flaws of the AI system. Here's an excerpt from Haraji's video in his own research in the AI age scare about why selfies are ineffective forms of age verification.
These 2 are very weak sources of verification, because I've met like 15 people that are under the age of 18 who have full beards and they just look really masculine and mature. And this is one of the flaws that AI has, that it can automatically assume somebody's age range based on a photo. And it could also go the other way around. I know people that are older than me that look way younger than what they actually are, and they look younger than 18. And when they send a photo, they say, oops, you are under 18, and we will be denying your appeal.
So basically, there's going to be a substantial margin of error when users try to verify their age with selfies, which all depends on that person's facial features and assumes their age based on their selfie alone. For IDs, however, this is especially controversial, given that there's going to be a whole ton of private and sensitive information in those cards, and this is why people got extremely worried and are freaking out like batshit crazy, because if they upload their ID to YouTube, that info would likely get stolen, and therefore get themselves a data breach. I find that claim of AI systems stealing information extremely stupid, because I could never find any identifiable evidence online saying that YouTube would use that stolen info to sell it to data brokers, hackers, scammers or shady third-party companies just for the sake of money, profiling, or, as how a lot of people cited apparently, investing in mass surveillance and censorship, so that authorities will track you down for one wrong move. This is why I moved to myth number 3, because I also find it extremely stupid that people say that YouTube is cooperating closely with the government, saying that they'll do anything to quote-unquote censor anyone that'll speak out against that company or its business practices. That claim is also full of extreme bullshit, because YouTube is a corporation, and though some of its business practices throughout the platform's history are questionable at best, it does not own the government, and the reason why it had to comply with governmental regulations is because of a simple little thing called, you guessed it, COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, the very thing that shut down Bonzi's program in 2004. Don't ever blurt out on me again while I'm making a video of Bonzi, please. Another bullshit claim I keep finding is people keep on saying that YouTube's AI system is never about protecting children all along, which usually keeps pointing to the same BS mass surveillance and censorship schlock that I'm trying my hardest to debunk. Again, YouTube doesn't own the government, and neither does the other way around. Remember that, people. Tangent out of the way, the last verification method I'll go over, the credit card method, also happens to be the least of the 3 evils, as how I've stated in my last video. Essentially, anyone can possess a credit or debit card, as those are typically issued to those that are 18 years of age or older. So, if anyone ever uses a credit card for making transactions online, the system will verify that those people that have used such cards are inferred to be adult. However, those same credit cards could also be used for age verification without even having to pay for anything, but this could potentially lead to issues as well, because even a child could possess a credit card without their parents' consent. Curiously enough, like I said in my last video, and also according to Nick Newman himself, premium users that regularly watch YouTube videos without having to deal with obnoxious ads may or may not have to worry about having to verify their age when their credit cards bill their subscriptions monthly, because those are on file with YouTube itself. Similarly, I recently made 3 purchases last week, with the first being Karate Kid Legends, followed by to Peter Cushing Doctor Who films at the time the AI age checking system had just started rolling out. And yet, like I said in the beginning of the video, I constantly checked on my channel, Creator Studio and my emails to see if I get any warning from YouTube. But as of yet, even as I'm making this video you're watching, I have not received anything from YouTube, aside from the receipts that are sent to my email. So, maybe, YouTube might have verified my debit card and had it on file anyway. Well, I'm A-okay for now. I still have to keep on the lookout for any future updates or developments, as whether or not YouTube using people's credit cards that are on file with them from premium subscriptions or movie purchases for age verification either remains to be seen or is as of yet unconfirmed. Now, I only barely scratched the surface when doing further research in this topic. However, briefly going back to the ID card method of age verification, it is uncertain whether YouTube would censor out any private information in those cards, leaving only your birth date or possibly your photo/mugshot, but again, this either remains to be seen or is unconfirmed. In any case, regardless of which of the 3 verification methods you use, that sort of information you send to YouTube will not be used against you. They cannot use it for criminal profiling, nor will it be used to spy on you, nor will it be used for advertising purposes, nor will it be used to train AI, nor will it be stored in any long-term database, which brings me to myth number 4. Some people say that a person's personal info will be stored in YouTube's database anyway, and even if they decide to go off the grid Terminator 3, Rise of the Machine style, that data will be stored between either at least 2 months, or probably 2 years depending in which source you're referring to. Another bullshit claim, because like what Garage said in his video, once your ID card or credit card info has been sent to YouTube for age verification, it will soon be deleted automatically once after it has been processed within 15 minutes from when it's uploaded, and thus will never be used again. However, Garage made a correction at the very end of the video, via text, that once after your ID age verification has been processed, it'll automatically be deleted from AI memory, and thus all of your personal info will be hidden securely in your Google account, rendering potential data breaches significantly less likely. The very reason why people are angry, scared and paranoid about this? Well, it's because of one simple thing: privacy. But, if, by any chance, if you ever strive to make videos in YouTube and become a major creator and interact with your viewer base, think of it as a full-time job. The reason I said this is because a lot of people that have become major creators and possess subscriber counts that are over 1,000 times, even tens or even hundreds of thousands of times that of mine, they are making a lot of money out of their videos they posted that they had monetized. Yes, YouTube is a corporation that is all about business, but you have to remember that, as a major creator, you're making money off of it, and just like what any regular job would, you have to provide them identification to prove who you are. Earlier, I did mention that people keep saying that YouTube's new policy is never about protecting the kids, but I have to clarify once more that this should not be used as an excuse to accuse Google of becoming a supposed surveillance state mandated by the government, because again, that's not true. What I also need to clarify is that, even though I do agree that kids should be safe on the internet, there are considerations of keeping kids off the internet as well, because in my 14 years of being active on YouTube, there's going to be a lot of older people who are malicious or just straight up hateful, and happen to hate everything that's otherwise enjoyable for other people, similar to how Daleks hate everything that's not them, and thus resort to extermination as a result. However, it's not just about protecting kids, because 1, there's pretty much no inappropriate content that's circulating on this platform, but there will be some content that might be offensive to people who are sensitive. 2, it is a relatively mature place, which is why fetish videos existed in the first place, because let's be real, I'm not a fan of them at all. Trust me, I have seen everything that has went down. All dramas and controversial discussions have come and gone over the years, and some of the videos that I used to watch as a kid were either considered lost media, or have been lost in the sea of other videos. And 3, this is nothing like YouTube Kids, because we are all discussing about regular YouTube. Moving on to myth number 5, where people would say that, even if people like me haven't been flagged as underage yet, they claim that the AI age verification system will eventually start spreading to larger parts of the US, and potentially beyond, which again, culminates into a supposed mass surveillance state, where censorship is enforced by YouTube and the government supposedly. Yet another bullshit claim, because this is a perfect example of a slippery slope fallacy, where one small change could lead to a series of events that'll end in an extremely undesirable outcome. That notion of YouTube enforcing its AI age policy further down the line is also a big conspiracy fabricated by the Reddit assholes who still think YouTube would keep pushing forward with its plans. I've said this a few times before, and I'll say it again. YouTube does not own the government, and nor would vice versa. I just find it extremely stupid that people say, just because some people haven't been flagged yet, doesn't mean they'll be safe forever, because again, they'll bring up that slippery slope fallacy to scare more users into joining boycotts or change their PFPs to Clippy. Again, this is ill-advisable, because all you're gonna do is complicate the situation even more, sometimes making it even worse. Because what would happen, even if YouTube's AI age verification system hasn't flagged you as underage yet, if you wait for, let's say around 2 or 3 weeks after it has rolled out, and still think that YouTube would eventually find out that you're underage anyway, chances are, it's probably unlikely to happen. And the likely reason why you haven't been flagged by AI yet? It could likely mean that it might be your watch history that has a balanced mixture of regular adult and whimsical animated content. Maybe you have been watching gameplay tutorials or lore videos pertaining to tabletop games meant for an older demographic, like Warhammer 40k or perhaps Battletech. Or maybe, like, when I discussed credit cards earlier, that card in question you used to buy movies or bill your premium subscription was on file with YouTube and has quietly verified your age anyway. Who knows, but most of what I said is probably just speculation, as again, this has yet to be seen or is still unconfirmed. Whatever the case, my main purpose is to debunk and clear up those myths and scares that have been circulating regarding this YouTube AI age verification thing that's rolled out a few days ago. I'm also trying to be as neutral to this situation as I can, and I have to deliver it in such a way that I don't have to just discuss why such impacts of AI age verification are only negative. Sometimes, such age verification methods are necessary, especially when there are websites that help you generate a lot of money like YouTube, or hell, even Etsy, if that's a possibility. Like I said earlier, think of it as a full-time job. You make money at your local McDonald's or some gas station, don't you? You had to provide your ID to those businesses you work for, didn't you? And those companies sometimes use your ID in the same way you have been misled and fear-mongered into believing that they'll use your ID for. Because, if you take a big reality check and realize that you have wasted so much time panicking over something that's essentially a small deal to some people, it is highly unlikely that your privacy will ever get breached, even if that AI implementation of age verification is far from perfect in any practical sense. You have to realize that YouTube, even if you provide your ID to them to prove who you are, will never, sell your data or distribute it to the shady corners of the internet, ever. Well, that's all I have time for this video. I hope you guys understand about whatever I said throughout the video, because I did a lot of research and rewatching of various videos that discuss that new feature YouTube rolled out a few days ago. Everything that I said in this video will hopefully help people clear up any misconceptions and myths that I explained exhaustively, and why certain things are true or not. Let this video serve as a more definitive follow-up to that last video I made, with all the updated info, necessary extrapolations to those that have already been explained briefly, certain corrections, and various other things that could piece together a bigger picture that a lot of users tend to overlook. I hope you followed along everything what I said, and until next time, stay safe on the internet and keep on the lookout for anything that's amiss. Cheerio.